The hot, acrid liquid soaked into my support hose, pooling in my orthopedic shoes, burning my skin with a shame so deep it felt like it was cauterizing my soul. 40 minutes. I had stood in that hallway for 40 minutes, my knuckles bruised from knocking, my voice hoarse from begging, while the steam seeped from under the bathroom door. I wasn't a stranger. I wasn't a beggar off the street. I was his mother. But as the warmth of my own humiliation spread across the hardwood floor I had paid for, I realized the man behind that locked door didn't see a mother. He saw a nuisance. He saw an old dog that needed to be put outside. I leaned my forehead against the cold plaster of the wall, the smell of ammonia rising around me, mixing with the scent of my son's expensive sandalwood soap wafting from the bathroom. That's when the door finally clicked open. My name is Glenda, and if you want to hear more stories, subscribe to the channel and let me know where you're listening from. Rick stood there, a towel wrapped loosely around his waist, steam billowing around him like he was some sort of Roman emperor. He looked fresh, clean, his skin pink from the hot water he didn't pay for. He looked down at my wet skirt, then at the puddle around my feet. I waited for the horror to hit his eyes. I waited for, Mom, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I waited for him to grab a towel, to help me, to show even a shred of the boy I had raised. Instead, he curled his lip. It wasn't pity. It was disgust. Pure, unadulterated revulsion. Jesus, Mom, he scoffed, stepping carefully over the puddle, so he wouldn't wet his toes. You're losing it. You're actually senile. Clean that up before the whole upstairs smells like a nursing home. I have a date tonight. He walked past me, the floorboards creaking under his weight, and slammed his bedroom door. I stood there, shivering in my own mess. But strange enough, the tears didn't come. The panic didn't come. Instead, a cold, hard clarity washed over me, sharper than the freezing shower I would have to take later. Thank you, Rick, I whispered to the empty hallway. I meant it. Thank you for killing the hope. Thank you for showing me that the son I loved was dead, and the man living in his corpse was a parasite. I didn't rush. I walked to the guest bathroom, the small one downstairs that he refused to use because the water pressure wasn't optimal, and I stripped off my soiled clothes. I scrubbed my skin until it was raw. I washed away the smell of urine, but I made sure not to wash away the anger. I needed that anger. It was going to be my fuel. My name is Glenda Vance. I am 62 years old, and for 35 of those years, I have owned and operated Vance's Daily Bread, the most successful bakery in this Tri-County area. My hands are swollen with arthritis, my back aches when it rains, and my veins look like blue road maps on my calves. But these hands built an empire of flour and yeast. These hands paid for Rick's private school, his failed startups, his divorce settlements, and that fancy SUV parked in my driveway. Arthur, my late husband, God rest his soul, used to say, Glenda, you love that boy too much. You're turning his bones to jelly. Arthur was right. I had created this monster. I had cushioned every fall, filled every empty bank account, and apologized for his mistakes. But standing in front of my bedroom mirror, buttoning up a crisp, clean blouse, I looked at the woman staring back. She looked tired, yes, but she looked done. I didn't pack with sadness. I packed with the precision of a surgeon. I pulled the vintage leather suitcase from the top of the closet. I didn't take much. My comfortable shoes, my heart medication, my jewelry box, and the photo of Arthur and me on our honeymoon. I picked up a framed photo of Rick from his college graduation. He looked so proud, so full of promise. I hesitated for a second, my thumb tracing his smiling face. Then I placed it face down on the dresser. I left it there. Then came the most important part. I knelt by the cedar chest at the foot of the bed. It had a false bottom Arthur had installed in the 90s. Rick knew about the wall safe downstairs, where we kept petty cash. He thought that was the treasure. He had no idea the real power lay in this wooden box. I took out the deed to the house, the deed to the commercial building downtown, the power of attorney documents I had drafted years ago but never filed, the bearer bonds, and, most importantly, the recipe Bible. It wasn't just a cookbook. It was a thick, oil-stained binder containing the formula for our signature sourdough starter. The mother. That starter was 80 years old, passed down from Arthur's grandmother. It was the soul of the bakery. Without the specific feeding schedule, the temperature logs, and the secret mineral blend written in this book, the Bread Advances daily bread would just be bread. It wouldn't be the legend that had people lining up around the block at 6 a.m. Rick thought he ran the business because he sat in the air-conditioned office playing fantasy football while I sweated by the ovens. He thought the business ran on autopilot. He was about to learn that the autopilot was me. I checked my watch. 2 p.m. Rick was snoring, the sleep of the just, or in his case, the sleep of the entitled. I called a generic Uber, not wanting the local taxi service to gossip just yet. When the car arrived, I rolled my suitcase down the driveway, the wheels rumbling softly on the pavement. I didn't look back at the Victorian house I had restored shingle by shingle. I didn't look at the flower beds I had planted. "Where to, ma'am?" the driver asked. He was a young kid, maybe 20, polite. "The Hyatt Regency downtown," I said, "and then to the rest of my life." The Hyatt was sterile, cool, and quiet. Room 412. It smelled of industrial cleaner and starch, a scent that felt like freedom. I sat on the edge of the king-sized bed and took a deep breath. No screaming TV. No demands for dinner. No, Mom, where's my iron shirt? I took out my smartphone. I wasn't great with technology, but I knew enough. I opened my banking app. Rick had a supplementary card on my main business account. I watched the pending transactions. Asterisk Liquor World, $85. The Steakhouse, $120. Gas station, $1.60, asterisk. I tapped the screen. Manage cards, Rick Vance, freeze card, report as lost/stolen, confirm. A grim satisfaction settled in my chest. Somewhere, the plastic in his wallet had just become a useless scraper for his windshield. Next, I dialed Mr. Sterling, my attorney. "Glenda? Everything all right?" His voice was gravelly and warm. "No, Howard, everything is finally going to be all right. Execute the contingency plan we talked about last year. The scorched earth protocol." There was a pause. "Are you sure, Glenda? Once we file the eviction notice and the restraining order on the business assets, the sheriff gets involved. It's going to be public. It's going to be ugly." He told me to pee on the floor. "Howard," he watched me stand in my own waste and told me I smelled like a nursing home. "I'll have the papers served by tomorrow morning," Howard said, his tone instantly hardening. "And I'll notify the suppliers." "Thank you." I hung up and ordered room service, a club sandwich, and a glass of Chardonnay. I ate it by the window, watching the city lights flicker on, knowing that across town, the lights were about to go out in more ways than one. The storm broke the next morning. I woke up, naturally, at 5 a.m., out of habit. Usually I'd be at the bakery, checking the humidity for the dough proofing. Today, I stayed in the hotel robe, sipping expensive coffee. My phone had been on Do Not Disturb, but when I checked it, the screen was a kaleidoscope of desperate notifications. 32 missed calls from Rick. 15 text messages. I opened them, scrolling from the bottom up to see the timeline of his panic. Asterisk 7:30 p.m. "Mom, where the hell are you? Dinner isn't made." Asterisk. Asterisk 8:15 p.m. "Seriously, stop playing games." I need $200 for the date tonight. Asterisk. Asterisk 9:45 p.m. Card declined? Mom, pick up. I'm at the restaurant. This is embarrassing. Asterisk. Asterisk 10:30 p.m. You cut me off? Are you crazy? I'm going to call the police. Asterisk. Asterisk 6:00 a.m. The flour truck didn't show up. The driver said the account is on hold. What did you do? Asterisk. Asterisk 6:15 a.m. Mom, pick up. The ovens aren't heating up. Did you not pay the gas bill? Asterisk. I smiled. I hadn't missed the gas bill. I had called the utility company and requested an emergency safety inspection for a suspected leak, which mandated a 48-hour shutoff. I didn't reply. I turned the phone over and watched the morning news. Around 10 a.m., I called Sarah, my head cashier. She's a sweet girl, a single mom who I've helped out with daycare costs more than once. Mrs. Vance, Sarah whispered into the phone. I could hear chaos in the background. Thank God. It's a madhouse here. Rick is losing it. He's throwing things. Is he? I asked calmly. He tried to fire Big Mike because there's no bread, but Mike just laughed at him. The customers are angry. Rick is trying to buy flour from the supermarket at retail price, but his card won't work. Mrs. Vance, are you okay? I'm fine. Sarah, listen to me. Close the shop. What? Close it. Tell Mike and the crew to go home. I'm paying everyone for the full week, plus a bonus for the stress. Lock the doors. Put up the closed for renovations sign. But Rick says he's the boss. Rick isn't the boss, Sarah. The name on the paycheck is mine. The name on the building is mine. If Rick gives you trouble, tell him to call Mr. Sterling. Go home, honey. Okay, Mrs. Vance. We miss you. I'll be back. But not yet. I spent the weekend doing things I hadn't done in decades. I went to a museum. I bought a dress that wasn't practical. It was silk blue and expensive. I got a manicure. Rick's messages turned from anger to bargaining, then to weeping. Asterisk Saturday, 2 p.m. Mom, the power is out at the house. All the food in the fridge is spoiling. Please, asterisk Sunday, 9 a.m. I'm hungry. There's nothing here. I don't have gas in the car. Asterisk Sunday, 8 p.m. Mom, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry. Please come home. I'm scared. Asterisk scared. A 42-year-old man was scared because his mother wasn't there to butter his toast. On Monday morning, I checked out of the hotel. I wore my new blue dress and my sharpest blazer. Mr. Sterling met me in the lobby, carrying a briefcase that looked like a weapon. Ready, Glenda? Let's go clean house. We pulled up to the bakery in Mr. Sterling's black sedan. The closed sign was crooked in the window. The bakery, usually a beacon of golden light and warm smells, looked dead. Rick was sitting on the curb. He looked like a castaway, unshaven, wearing rumpled sweatpants, his hair greasy. When he saw the car, he scrambled up, relief washing over his face. Mom, thank God. He rushed toward me as I stepped out. You have to fix this. It's been a nightmare. The electric company, the suppliers, the bank, it's all a conspiracy. He reached out to hug me. I stepped back. Mr. Sterling stepped between us. Mr. Vance, take a step back. Rick blinked, confused. Who are you? Mom, tell this suit to move. This suit, I said, my voice steady, is the man who is going to explain your new reality. We went into the office. The air inside was stale. There were empty pizza boxes on my desk and a spilled soda on the floor. I sat in my chair. It felt like a throne. Sit down, Rick. Mom, look, I'm sorry about the bathroom thing, okay? I was stressed. Just give me the cards back so I can get the crew working. We're losing money. Mr. Sterling placed a document on the desk. Rick, This is an eviction notice. Rick laughed, a nervous, high-pitched sound. Eviction? It's my house. It is not, Mr. Sterling said. It is Glenda's house. You are a guest who has overstayed his welcome. You have 48 hours to vacate the premises. And this, Sterling slid another paper across, is a forensic audit of the business accounts. We found nearly $30,000 in unauthorized withdrawals in the last 6 months. Technically, that's embezzlement. Glenda could press charges. You'd be looking at 3 to 5 years. Rick's face went pale. He looked at me, searching for the soft, yielding mother he knew. He found only granite. Mom? Jail. You'd put me in jail. You left me in a hallway covered in urine. Rick, you looked at me like I was garbage. You stripped me of my dignity. Why should I protect yours? He slumped in the chair. The arrogance drained out of him, leaving a terrified child. He put his head in his hands and sobbed. Real, ugly tears. I have nowhere to go, he choked out. Lisa won't take me back. I have no money. I have no credit. I'm 42 and I have nothing. You have your health, I said coldly, and you have 2 hands. I let him cry for a full minute. I needed to see if he was broken. He was. I have a proposition, I said. He looked up, eyes red, a glimmer of hope sparking. Anything. I'll do anything. I'll run the books better. I promise. No, I cut him off. You are fired as general manager. You are fired from the office. You are never touching a bank account again. Then what? I need a janitor. His jaw dropped. A what? A janitor. Big Mike has been complaining that the heavy cleaning is hurting his back. I need someone to scrub the floors, take out the trash, grease the pans, and yes, clean the bathrooms. I'm not scrubbing toilets, Mom. Then you're homeless and facing felony charges. I stood up. Those are the options, Rick. You can walk out that door and figure it out on your own, or you can put on a jumpsuit, grab a mop, and earn minimum wage. Oh, and you'll pay me rent for your room. $400 a month. It'll come out of your paycheck. He stared at me. He looked at the door. He looked at the street outside, where he knew absolutely no one would help him. He looked at his soft, uncalloused hands. Where is the mop? He whispered. The first month was brutal. I watched him from my glass office. I watched him gag as he hauled bags of wet, fermented dough to the dumpster. I watched him sweating through his shirt as he scrubbed the black grime off the oven hoods. The crew didn't make it easy on him. Big Mike, who had taken years of Rick's condescension, enjoyed ordering him around. Hey, Richie, you missed a spot under the mixer. Put your back into it. Rick wanted to quit every single day. I could see it in his eyes. He'd come home to the room he now rented, too tired to speak, his hands blistered, smelling of bleach and old yeast. He ate the simple dinners I cooked in silence, then collapsed into bed. But he didn't quit, because he had nowhere else to go. By the 3rd month, something changed. The blisters turned to calluses. He stopped walking with that lazy slouch and started moving with purpose. He lost the beer belly. One Tuesday afternoon, I walked into the kitchen prep area. Rick was on his knees, repairing a caster on one of the heavy dough racks. He was greasy, sweaty, and focused. Rick, I said. He jumped up, wiping his hands on a rag. Yes, ma'am? Mom? I fixed the wheel. We don't need to buy a new rack. Good job, I said. The bathroom in the hallway. It's blocked. He flinched. The bathroom. The scene of the crime. I'll get the plunger, he said quietly. I followed him. I watched him enter that hallway. The ghost of what happened hung there. He looked at the floor where I had stood that day. He paused, closing his eyes for a second. Then he went into the bathroom. He didn't just plunge it. He scrubbed the tile. He wiped the mirror. He polished the faucets until they shone. When he came out, he saw me watching him. "It's clean," he said. His voice was different, heavier but steady. "Thank you." He looked at his shoes. "Mom, about that day." "You don't need to say it, Rick." "Yes, I do." He met my eyes. "I was a piece of trash. I thought I was better than you. I thought I was better than this place. But I'm not. I didn't know how hard you worked. I didn't know how heavy the flour bags were. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." It wasn't the groveling apology of a man afraid of losing his credit card. It was the apology of a man who finally understood the value of labor. I nodded. "Get back to work. The delivery truck is here." 6 months have passed since I became the villain to save my son. Vance's daily bread is thriving. The floors have never been cleaner. The inventory is perfectly organized. Yesterday, I stayed late to balance the books. The bakery was quiet, just the hum of the refrigerators keeping the sourdough mother alive. I walked out to the loading dock to lock up. Rick was there. He wasn't working. He was sitting on a crate, watching the sunset, eating a stale croissant that hadn't sold. He saw me and stood up. "Let me walk you to the car, Mom. It's dark." We walked to my sedan. He opened the door for me, something he hadn't done since he was 12. "Here," he said, reaching into his pocket. He pulled out a small, crumpled paper bag. "I stopped by that fancy chocolatier across town. I know you like the sea salt caramels." I looked at the bag. "These are expensive, Rick." "I saved up," he shrugged. "I picked up a couple of extra shifts, helping Mike with the morning bake. He's teaching me how to feed the mother." My heart skipped a beat. Big Mike didn't let anyone touch the mother. "He let you touch the starter?" "Yeah," said, "I finally have baker's hands." Whatever that means. I looked at his hands. They were rough, scarred, with short nails and ingrained flour dust. They were ugly hands. They were beautiful hands. They were hands that could hold up a legacy. I took the caramels. "Thank you, son." "See you tomorrow, boss." He smiled. A real smile. Not the shark-like grin of a salesman, but the tired, genuine smile of a worker. I drove home with the taste of sea salt and caramel in my mouth. It was sweet, but the salt lingered. Just like life. I had to break my son to fix him. I had to let him hit the cold, hard ground so he could learn how to stand up. It was the hardest thing I ever did, harder than kneading dough at 4 a.m. for 40 years. But as I pulled into the driveway of the house I own, knowing my son was safe, not because I shielded him, but because he could finally shield himself, I knew the recipe had worked. Dignity, it turns out, is a lot like sourdough. It needs time, it needs pressure, and sometimes it needs to be punched down before it can truly rise.